let's talk about some climate stuff, okay? Because one guy that scared the hell out of me was David Wallace-Wells. I don't know if you've
David
heard.
Wallace-Wells,
Yeah,
not a, not
he wrote a book about basically like what climate change, not climate control, is going to do to us. Like he was talking about New York and like by 2050 is going to be underwater. Miami's going to be gone because it's a sandbar and there's nothing on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So that like scared the hell out of me. And I was like, okay, I gotta like figure my life out. And let me move to Colorado where there's like no water, there's some mountains. I'm good. So what's up with that kind of stuff? Is that kind of stuff that you know about?
Oh, well, that's stuff I deal with all the time. And I think the motivation for the climate engineering intervention activity, maybe the motivation for you moving to Colorado was fear.
Mm,
And so it's a discourse driven by fear. And if you remember Earth and the Balance and Inconvenient Truth, uh, former Vice President Al Gore was pretty much a fearmonger about this and the
right.
worst case scenarios. There's others very prominent atmospheric scientists, and I know just about all of them personally,
Mm,
and they tend to lean towards the hype. What's the worst that could happen, which is not a bad thing to plan for,
right.
but you don't tell the public that they're all going to die by 20, what is it, 2015
2050.
or 20,
50.
oh, 2050.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in a after dinner conversation with some geoengineers in San Diego after one of our AAAS meetings, and they started talking after dinner about the apocalypse, and they took a straw poll. How many people think we're all going to die by 2050? And about half the table raises their hand,
What?
and others say 2100, and other people raise their hand. And I said, oh my God, what are you going to do between now and then? Just become a hedonist, or are you going to become a monk, or what?
Right.
What is you're going to move to Colorado? And they never thought about it on the personal level. It was all structural, futuristic charts of upward trending things. And I remember that one of the hosts of the meeting, very prominent female geoengineer, and she said, "Oh, Jim, that's just the wine talking. We're not all going to die. We just talk this way, you know."
Right. Right.
So the starting point of my recent essay was that you can't get into the climate intervention field unless you're really motivated by sincere concern, uh, verging on fear. I give you some quotes about people who said, we all have to start mourning for humanity now because we're all going to bite the dust, and there is no purpose to go on. And so there's this long dirge. It's kind of started with Bill McKibben and in his book, The End of Nature. And he started talking about how nothing's natural anymore and everything's human intervention in it. And he came up to a kind of a, at that point, he wrote the book. He said, there's not that much purpose to go on. And then he
Right.
found a purpose, which was to try to hold the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere to 350. So he started that group called 350.
Hmm.
And so I deal with this all the time because what's the popular knowledge about climate change is that fear-saturated narrative, and it's not what the atmospheric scientists are really doing. And the people that portray that narrative are often not in any way climate modelers or climate scientists, or the mainstream people that are
Right.
doing the work in the trenches.
Right. Like
There
you
is
like
concern, there is an important work to be done, but it shouldn't be done just with that motivation that got you to move to Colorado.